The 2024 BMW X1. I'm going to talk about what's new for this model year. Then I'm going to get into my thoughts regarding this versus the X3. And towards the end, I'm going to share with you how you can save between 8 and 9% off of MSRP on either a BMW X1 or an X3. All right, let's get started. The biggest change and update for 2024 is the introduction of a M35i Performance X1. Before, you only had the option of getting the xDrive 28i with the turbo 2-liter 4-cylinder engine with 241 horsepower, 295 pounds-feet of torque. The M35i takes the same engine and has tuned it to now produce 312 horsepower, but the torque remains the same at 295. This is very similar to the BMW X2 as well. It's the same drivetrain setup, and the transmission is going to be a 7-speed dual clutch, and all-wheel drive is standard, which is great. The only thing is, when you're test driving these, especially the base xDrive 28i, see how the turbo lag is, see if it's appropriate, and if it's something that you can deal with on a day-to-day basis. And regarding the M35i, just make sure to take it over some rough bumps, see how it's riding, because the thing with BMW is sometimes they go over the top and make the suspension too stiff on their M models. So just make sure that for you and your family, the M35i is a good fit. Now the xDrive 28i, the fuel economy is 25 in the city, 34 highway. The M35i, 23 in the city, 31 highway. However, you can pretty much meet and exceed these numbers in the real world, so that's not a problem. And you know what? In this instance, if the ride quality and the overall driving feel checks out for you, I kind of would recommend going with the M35i performance model. I built one on BMW's website, came out to be around $53,000. So if you want a performance BMW that's relatively quick and has a small footprint, this X1 might be the way to go, because when you step up to the X3 performance models, the M40i's, that gets really expensive. Granted, that comes with the inline 6, but all of these turbo engines, they lack character, so it doesn't really matter if you go with the 4-cylinder or the 6. They all have that fake engine noise being pumped in through the speakers, so yeah, character, you're not getting that. But these BMW performance models, they are ballistically quick and they get good fuel economy in the real world, and this X1 is a nice petite size, if you will, and I'll talk more about size in the next segment. But yeah, the M35i comes with adaptive M Sport suspension, you get upgraded brakes. Standard, you get 19-inch wheels, but you can upgrade that to 20s if you want. I wouldn't do that, I would stick with the 19s. The smallest wheel size makes sense with these BMWs due to their typically harsh ride quality. And you also get a 12-speaker Harman Kardon sound system, wireless charging pad, etc. The 28i, that also comes well equipped, and there's of course a couple of options that you can add in to your liking. But one thing you have to understand is the technology is not going to be for everyone. The X1 has a 10.25-inch digital gauge cluster, and we have a 10.7-inch infotainment screen, which is integrated together in this curved fashion. It's got the wireless Android Auto and the wireless Apple CarPlay. That's fine, but this is running on iDrive 9, and that means you don't really have any physical buttons and switches for your HVAC. It's all implemented into the touchscreen. Yes, the screen reacts really quick. It looks good. However, it's very cumbersome to access some of those HVAC functions, and that's the biggest drawback with the X1 and really all of these new BMWs moving forward. And many people, they're just going to say that, oh, just use the voice command. However, by the time you finish screwing around with the voice command function, you could have just gone into the screen and changed what you needed to change. Anyway, if the X1 is not going to work out for you because of this technology, then you might want to consider stepping up to the X3, because for 2024, the BMW X3 still utilizes the traditional buttons and switches for the HVAC. And let's briefly go over a comparison between the X1 and the X3 now. Regarding price, the X1 starts at $40,500 before destination, and the X3 starts at $46,900. So over a $6,000 starting MSRP difference between the two. That's not nothing. That's definitely a sizable difference. I won't deny that. But as promised before, I will definitely show you how you can save on these new BMWs. Anyway, regarding the size of the X1 and the X3, this is where things get really interesting. Physically, the X3 is almost 10 inches longer than an X1. Okay, it's 185.9 inches total. The X1, 177.2 inches. The wheelbase on the X1 is 106 inches and the X3 is 112.8 inches. So clearly the X3 is the larger vehicle. However, the X1 has more legroom both in the front and the rear. It's not much, but it is more. You have 0.1 inches more legroom in the front of the X1 and 0.6 inches more legroom in the rear. I have no idea how that is possible, but this is according to the official BMW spec sheets. The X1 has a little bit more legroom in the front and the rear than the substantially larger X3. Anyway, it's obvious that you need to sit in these vehicles for yourself and see which one is going to work out for you. Regarding the cargo space, that's where the X3 has the X1 beat for sure. It's got substantially more cargo capacity. And the X3 has always been that go-to BMW product that I would recommend to most families. Heck, even when I compared it to an X5, the difference was not substantial in terms of rear legroom. In fact, the only real advantage the X5 had was a slightly taller and wider trunk space. That's about it. But sitting in the X5 and the X3 about the same, and it seems like the X1 is going to be the same story. Now, regarding the savings, I have partnered with the largest automotive broker in the United States. His name is AutoCompanion. He is offering 8% off MSRP on the BMW X1, and he's offering 9% off MSRP on the X3 30i models. AutoCompanion also has a free leasing calculator, which I will have linked in the description box below. This is a very powerful tool because leasing programs, they change every month. So if you're watching this in the future, these numbers are going to be different. However, this calculator will update every month and it shows you the residual values, the interest rate on the lease, and the incentives that you can qualify for in your local area. So a very powerful, useful tool. And when I ran some numbers, assuming you have perfect credit and you're doing a zero down lease, a BMW X3 leases for about $708 a month, and X1 is going to be $638 a month. So about a $70 difference. Up to you on which vehicle is going to work best for you and your family. I mainly just wanted to share with you this resource, and if you want to work with AutoCompanion, he is located in Washington, D.C. So if you purchase from him, you're either going to have to ship the vehicle, and that's going to be a cost that you will have to pay for yourself, or you can pick up the vehicle at DC. He does charge a broker fee, but if you sign up with my affiliate link in the description box, you can save on his broker fee. And these are some great deals because, man, I inquired on a few vehicle deals in my local area, and dude, these local dealerships are still out of control. They have stale inventory that's been sitting around, and I try to negotiate with them. These people will not budge. Like, they don't care that some of their vehicles have had a birthday on their lot. They will not discount their vehicles. And in some cases, these dealerships are still charging over MSRP. So if that's the case with your local area, then consider reaching out to AutoCompanion because you can save thousands of dollars by purchasing through his partnered dealership. So I hope you appreciate these resources, and if you do, consider liking and subscribing. And if you're currently an owner of an X1 or an X3, let us know how it's been holding up for you. Let us know how you like it, and thank you so much for watching. Take care and goodbye.